Right, guys. Hello, hello. No, Matthew, no. Such a long time. I have not seen you. Such a long time. How sad. So, Jack, just in case you don't know, we have been started reviewing Matthew's sales call, so we're just gonna move forward with it. He has 3 sales calls to review. So now he finished discovery. He fucked up various different points. Basically, like, it was not fuck up in terms of asking questions. It was fuck up in terms of clarifying. Like, he basically doesn't know really if the guy makes 500,000 or 1 million or 2 million, or if the guy shares it with the team and what's the percentage. He also doesn't know if there was any other deals that he has closed for himself or only for the team because he's the team leader. So now we are in the presentation part.
To collect the visitors' data. So it is very helpful because thanks to Pixel, we can know exactly where those people are coming from or what they are looking for. And talking about this, let's move on full retargeting 365. As you can see here, it's a retargeting during the entire year. So whenever someone wants to do something, we can collect their data and target ads and all the content directly on them. So we have multiple options how to do that. First of all, there is a content retargeting, and as we were talking about Pixel, thanks to this Pixel, we can create content very effectively because we already know what those people are looking for. We can either use SMS or email campaign.
By the way, for the fact that you were thinking it's an intellectual buyer, you are talking too much. Like, with intellectual buyers, you will need to be straight to the point and just tell them facts. Also, you can literally, in this case, you could also have set full retargeting 365. In case you are wondering, 365 stands for the fact that we are running it for a year. So everyone that touches base with you once, and I'm going to explain to you now in 4 different steps what does it include, but on the basis that someone interacts you with once, they will hear and interact with you for at least 365 days.
To connect those people directly with you. And last but not least, one of our agents can basically just reach out to those people and arrange a face-to-face meeting directly with you. So now, David, what would you say is one of the most important things in all this online branding strategy?
Well, getting my face in front of people, so my face is the first name they recognize when they have a need for real estate.
Basically, yes. And to be able to do that, and one of the most important things here in this online branding strategy is basically your social media profile. So how should that looks like? First of all, you need a professional profile photo that also reflects what you do.
I really hope that you're not gonna do the thing you did last time, where you're gonna also pinpoint or highlight the importance of the bio without you actually editing the fucking bio, as I told you multiple times already. But let's find out together, as a collective.
You know the answer.
Not only I can take the pleasure in it, but also Jack and also Rune can take the pleasure in it.
Then your bio, it should be short, to the point, and with call to action. Now, what would you say you can share in your story highlights?
Anything, I like to, my page is, I've got both a professional and a personal page, or for, on IG and Facebook, I highlight both my personal stuff and my real estate stuff. Stuff about the area, stuff about Orlando, stuff about real estate,
yes,
restaurants, places to go, stuff like that.
Yes, basically, when it comes to online branding and create a strong online profile and presence, yes, as we want people to recognize you, it is always good to share also your personal life in those stories, also real estate stuff like your clients' results and testimonials.
If I'm being honest, I will just touch based on the fact that he's a team leader and that he has team. Or here you could literally have asked him, if I'm being absolutely honest, we can either do it for you or we can also do it for your brokerage. I don't know if, again, you have also not even asked if the team is under his brokerage or in a brokerage, or if he even wants to have it for the team or only for himself. Because also when perfect opportunity, even when he were talking about his goals in terms of 42 deals for himself this year and 84 for his team, if, for example, if we were working together, is the whole service only for him or his team? And I just realized you also fucked up one thing. Granted, you have not asked how much he has closed for himself last year, but on the basis that you will also want to know if the delay in January has also affected him. Because based on what he said so far, the delay in January, because he was a lazy fat fuck, was only causing delays in terms of work for his agents. But you will also want to know if it also affected him. But again, if you will also know how much he's making per month on the basis that you will have actually clarified the percentage, you will also know if he's struggling on monthly basis or not. Because if you make 6 figures monthly and if you make 5 figures monthly, it's a big difference. Yeah.
Anything else? And from there, you will also need content for your posts and stories, as you can see here.
That we will also help you to create. We will also make all the scripts for you, so you don't need to bother, which will also save you time. Because like the way you just said it, that's why some people ask you, oh, but do I need to do it myself?
Now, how this online branding strategy actually works? Here are the few steps for a successful online branding strategy. So first of all, there is traffic. And so we basically just
I like how you said, and you want to clarify what traffic means first. And here, by the way, it will also be a perfect way to touch base on the fact that he only deals with sphere of influence. Where you can literally say, so the first step will be traffic. I know the only thing you're currently doing is sphere of influence. That's why if you're lazy, as you said yourself, they may come to a delay. However, on the basis that we will have traffic that we will generate through specific campaigns in order to attract prospects to you, there is not such thing as laziness that will affect your business or you and your team. Or if you want to, you can go into numbers. Like on the basis that you, for example, those, like, again, you have not clarified if he has just, because he was ashamed, lowered down his goal for the last year, or if it actually happened. But here we could have also said, which will basically allow us not to, you know, be in -12 on your team's deal and let's say -20 on your personal deals. Like, you know, like punch him a little bit.
Creating campaigns is ad campaigns, as I showed you before during this presentation. And basically the main goal of these ad campaigns is to get more people on your social media profile, on your Instagram profile, and attract prospects you desire. From there, we are creating content, ensuring that all of those people can see you as an expert in what you do, and basically the #1 realtor in your area. Then interaction. So like I also said before, we will connect with all the leads from messages, likes, and comments and pre-qualify them for you. And later during this presentation, and also show you details, the qualification process. And last step here in this online branding strategy is reactivation. So we deliver value and re-engage all the leads through social media, SMS, and email campaigns. Have you ever utilized something like this for yourself before?
Yes.
Okay.
When I put this stuff through command, we use something very similar. We're reaching out through social media, through SMS, and through email for our campaigns.
Okay. Now let's take a look on some of the examples, what you can use on your stories.
Again, if you would have pinpointed, for example, the importance of traffic, you could have also asked him there. So just to clarify, you can see how this process or the system will allow you to have a steady influx of people coming in, independent of the fact if you're going to be lazy or not. Especially, you will be able to do that on the basis that you will call him out on the laziness, but you have not. Like he has also mentioned it.
Well, you should actually say that. So, like, say, oh, give her a fact that you're going to be lazy. And like, tell them they're going to be lazy.
You know, like I told Matthew what, do you remember the role play we've been doing yesterday?
Yeah.
Where Ismael was basically, like, even in your role play, it's similar to what this guy said, where he literally admitted that he's lazy. So at this point, on the basis that you have all the information you wanted from the discovery, you can basically toss the chessboard around and be like, oh, but then Matthew, how can you guarantee me that you're not going to be lazy when we're going to work together? To the point where the person's actually going to sell themselves to you.
Okay.
Yeah. But like when that happens, you can say stuff like this in the presentation. But if not, then just don't mention the laziness part, but still connect the dots from discovery to the presentation so people can simply rely to it.
As you can see here, stories speak to your city daily. That means basically we take care on the stories. We take care on the stories and
Are you repeating yourself? It sounds like you lost your mind.
prepare everything for you. And then, for example, on Monday, you can share a call to action video. For example, on Wednesday, you can share clients' results and testimonials.
Don't say you can, just say we will for you as an example. So as an example, on Monday, we will share a CTA video. Obviously, if you want to post any personal stuff in the meantime, absolutely fine. On Wednesday, we will just simply share client testimonials with you, even from, for example, recently sold houses. And on Friday, on the basis that you will have any open houses, we can also do face-to-face invitations for you to just simply have open house to one of the listings that you have now received. You have, for example, mentioned you have the listing for 3 million. We will be able to do a face-to-face invitation, for example, for people with a certain budget. I'm also going to show you how the qualification management works. So you can also understand what I mean with labeling people. And then you can touch basically two parts of the presentation, two sides of the presentation to something he's mentioned in the discovery.
And for example, on Friday, you can share a face-to-face invitation, for example, to your open house. Now, like I said, qualification management. So basically, like I said, we will connect with all the leads from messages, likes, comments, and pre-qualify them for you. Very important thing here is labels. So we will find out as much information about those prospects as possible.
By the way, if you want to highlight something on the screen, don't do it as if you have an epilepsy attack. Just like slowly but surely, just make circles. So he can actually, you know, see it and comprehend it and not. So here the most important thing is labels.
Possible, and create groups and put labels on them. So for example, this person.
You don't create groups. If you will create a group, people will see other people.
This person here is ready to buy in, let's say, next 2-3 months, and he can afford a house with $300,000 or $400,000. And then,
so again, one important thing you could have mentioned here. So as an example, if the situation is going to happen like you have, for example, now, where you have one listing for 200,000 coming in and you have one listing for 3 million coming in, we will utilize the labels to target two different peoples, where you say to us, hey, I have a new listing coming in for 200,000 on the 1st of April. Wonderful. We're going to hit up every single person that is labeled with that price range to assure ourselves that it's going to be sold as quick as possible. Or if you say to us, hey, I just got a listing for 3 million. I would like to make an open house for everyone that has budget for it. Wonderful. We go to our labels. We can tell you, hey, we currently have 60 people that we can invite to an open house for it. And by the way, does it have helipads? So, you know, if in case someone has more money, can they fly in? You can also put a joke in here. Or you can say that this is, for example, something that happened with one of your clients.
Then another example of how we deliver value to reactivate all the leads. So for example, you can share your new listing or a video house tour. And now, David, before.
That was very short. $300,000
or $400,000. And then another example of how we deliver value to reactivate.
But it's not about delivering value. It's about reactivating leads and keeping them engaged. Like you will want to separate, because that you need to understand that's why you have 3 different slides. So you have slides on their profile, you have slides on their stories. So profile is the one that keeps them there. When they come in, they see a good looking profile, they will stay, they will leave the follow. Then you have the stories that see, oh, this profile is active. I like what they show. And then you have the reactivation, which are the new posts that people see on constant basis. That's why it's a reactivation, where they can see, as an example, latest listings, as an example, the recent homes that you were able to sell, or the video tour of your new listings. Especially when you say you will have also from time to time listings coming in that are, for example, for 3 million, that's a very good visit card for your profile.
Activate all the leads. So for example, you can share your new listing or a video house tour. And now, David, before we get on a pricing, can you see how this system, how this strategy can help you get more traction for you and for your team?
Well, yes, obviously you gave my name out there in front of them. It's got its advantages, that's for sure.
Okay, so do you have any questions about this strategy?
Not right now. What I'd like, let's go farther and figure out what. I got some more questions I'll bring up.
Okay, and if pricing makes sense for you, is this something you would like to start with?
I'll review everything once I see it, and we'll go from there. Just gotta understand my personality. Have you ever done a DISC profile test before? You know what a DISC profile test is? Personality test assessment?
Yes.
Okay, I'm a very high D. So I'm gonna look through it. I'm gonna examine everything, then I'll make a decision. Okay.
Okay.
He just overtook the control. You basically, he literally showed that he's a high D. and you just allowed it. Like you became his bitch in a span of few seconds. Okay, yes, I know. Okay. No, just say
Because
absolutely
I
fine, not unless on the basis like throughout everything you have seen so far, do you have any questions? Do you like what you saw? I really hope, because like, he literally told you he will need to think about it. You want to go deeper into that, and you will want to know. I really hope the last minutes that I see on the fucking clock that you have not showed him the pricing. I saw your face expression. I'm very close to throwing something at you if it weren't for the fact that it's sadly a camera.
that's the only reason why I'm asking if you have any questions about this, so I can clarify that for you before we move forward.
Okay, well, let's be honest. I just said I'm a high D. I want to know how your stuff is going out. You're talking about using SMS, email, social media. Your SMS, because obviously you're using your own system to set up appointments and follow up. Your own system. I almost canceled the appointment because of your SMS. Y'all's SMS sent me 5 messages today to tell me I had a friggin' meeting at 2:00. And I'm like, I know I have a meeting at 2:00. It's in my calendar. I responded I was going to be here. I don't want 5 messages. So,
and yet he showed up.
Things need to be catered to people so it matches their personality. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Do you see how you immediately became his bitch? He's accusing you of something, and you immediately, yes, I'm so sorry. No, like, feel free to fucking deflect. Feel free to argue a little bit. Honestly, I'm very glad that you have just not complimented him, because knowing you will compliment him in some way here.
Okay. Okay, David, so when it comes to the pricing, nice and simple. First of all, there is a advertising spend, which is industry standard of $1,000 per month. Those money doesn't come to us. It goes directly to the platform to run the advertising. And our cost of this is just a setup fee of $3,000. And after 2 months is $1,000 as a retainer fee. But let me put it in the long time perspective for you. Like I mentioned before during this presentation.
Does the ROI also make sense? No, because you don't know the percentage. You don't know how much it's making. It can be 3%, it can be 6%.
Yes, that's correct. We make sure that our clients can yield at least 3 times ROI. While
you can literally start by saying, as you should remember, one of the pillars of my company or our team or whatever you want to say is 3x ROI. So in order to assure ourselves that this is achievable, this is what we do, and then you can calculate. I want to see how you calculate.
Working with us. So let's say we're gonna work together for 1 year. That means that your cost total during the entire year is $13,000, $3,000 setup fee and $10,000 monthly retainer. So,
do you know how it just sounded? Yeah,
I hear it.
Yeah, there was a difference in saying 10,000 per year, 10,000 per month. If you would have said 12 months or 10 months, absolutely fine. But
on those numbers for an entire year, you just need to sell or close 1 or 2 deals.
Especially because you don't know how much he's making. So it's a very ballsy way to say it.
To get much more money.
Technically speaking, if you will make 6 figures per month, as by the 6% per deal, by this mistake, you could have signed him for 10K per month. But again, you don't know how much he's making.
That you invest in us, in our service.
1 or 2 deals to break even, not the 3x. And I typically go off the MREA which is scaled back, and it used to be 10x, now it's 7x. So 7x is 17, 7x a $13,000 investment would be $91,000. So I gotta sell 10 additional homes to get my 7x.
Yes, but I was talking just the worst case scenario, just to get your money back.
But you have not clarified that, have you? You could have also just started by saying, by the way, just so you know, I always go from the lowest numbers. So the worst case scenario breaks you even, but we obviously know that in a span of 12 months, there is no realistic possibility to only achieve that number, as an example.
Yeah, I don't want to just get my money back. If I just get my money back, it's kind of like going to the gambling table and breaking even. I want to make money.
Makes sense. That's why we are here.
Right? Okay. So I need to see a little more in depth what you're sending out. It's it's a nice slideshow, but I need to see exactly what you're sending out to have a better idea of this, if this is something for me. And honestly, where the leads funnel into what? Do they are you working with? Do you have the ability to bring them straight into our CRM?
Yes, that's basically on you, what you're gonna choose. If you want to create some kind of database, no problem.
I'm gonna murder you on spot. I don't know if you've noticed, you have a software, called GHL. That's for short, stands for Go High Level. You capture every single fucking person that touches your ads. And as a matter of fact, you said one of your pillars is database. So you can literally just say, absolutely, everything is going to be in the meta suite that you also have access to. Besides that, there is a CRM that is going to be integrated that you can immediately access as well. Which answer comes across as more competent? I'm going to give you 5 seconds to think about it. Your time is up.
Your answer. Basically, we're just gonna deliver those leads directly to you, or even arrange a meeting with you.
Okay.
With all the.
You're also retarded because you're constantly saying you, yet you have not clarified if it will be for him or his team. But he was constantly mentioning his team, which will make sense to bring his team here as well in the conversation. Because he's not speaking from his perspective, he's speaking from a team leader perspective, which involves, believe it or not, team members.
This information, like I mentioned, labels, information about if this person is ready to buy, what kind of house he can afford, and stuff like this.
Okay. And they
never fucking ever say and stuff like this. It sounds like you just ran out of examples, which you did, but at least don't show it.
you do any screening of you tell me you give me qualified leads. Are they actually talking to them about their and this is your ISAs? Are they talking to them about and their financing to make sure that they're pre-qualified, or is that something that gets pushed back to me?
Yes, like I said, we are pre-qualify all those leads for you. So we will connect with all those leads and make sure that if someone basically can afford anything.
This is not what he's asking. I guess he kind of asked on the qualification, how it looks like and what it is. But then you could have said, yes, as I mentioned previously, everything runs through us. So obviously we can also agree on what qualification are you actually looking for. And on the basis that someone fulfills it, this is the only time where you actually speak with them. So we don't send you any time wasters. We assure ourselves that they fulfill a certain quality and only then speak to you or your team. Because he was asking if everything is going to be in his hands and what is the quality actually.
You just don't have to work with them because you will know about that. We will
Okay, so
reach
how are
out to
you
them.
qualifying is what I'm asking, Matt. How are you making sure they can afford what they're saying they can afford? Is the ISA reaching them out and touching them with the lender, or is it we're just going off of what they're telling you?
Well, basically, we will reach out to them, and like I mentioned, we can use multiple ways how to do that. Basically, through social media, through a
Did you fucking understood what he's saying? You're justifying your existence. Now, sadly, we are not a bank institution, so obviously we are not going to be able to fully tell you if someone's, for example, approved for a pre-mortgage. However, we can call them, we can speak with them, and then have the information coming from that.
SMS, emails, and even call those people and find out everything what is important for you and pre-qualify them for you.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna have to think about it. Be dead honest. It's like I said, my business is SOI, so spending 13,000. It sounds like not a lot of money, but right now we're in a period in real estate where we're watching our pennies because we're not sure what the market is. Spending 13,000 on an area that's not my number one area is probably not going to happen. I'm not saying no, but I'm definitely not saying yes.
Okay, but then what happens if you're gonna be lazy as you were by the end of the last year? I completely get where you're coming from. However,
if you want, I think you sent me videos previously to go through this stuff before. Is that correct?
No.
All right. Do you have an email that you can send me so I can look through it over again?
I didn't send you anything.
I said, do you have an email that you can send me that I can look through this material again?
Well, I can send you this presentation if you want. If
Okay,
that
yeah.
makes you feel better about that.
I can send you the presentation if you want. However, what the fuck do you need to think about? What is there specifically that you need to think about? It's a fucking smoke screen. I can also tell you I don't know how the market looks like. Nonetheless, I'm aware of the fact that there are people in the market that are making money even if there is a fucking crisis. I really hope you've at least tried to figure out what's behind the smoke screen. In case someone doesn't know, smoke screen is a fake objection. As for example, most of the time I need to think about it.
Yeah, let me look through it again. I'm definitely not making a decision today. And right now, I don't think it's for me. I think it's it's more for an agent that wants to is garnering and getting a lot of I don't want to say cold leads because you're getting them to you, getting to the agent, but it's not somebody that's my the leads I'm getting now, the calls I'm getting, the appointments I'm setting are hot leads. It's people.
The reason he says that now is because you have never clarified that it can be for him or his team. That's one thing. Second thing that you could hit him with here right now would be, yes, but at the same time, your closing rate is 4% on hot leads. So how does that happen? But this is also something you have not touched based on the discovery phase.
From my sphere of influence, they know me already. These are your return on these are probably 1 in 3 and 1 to 3 or 1 in 4 percent getting those. But it's not. I'm not sure that's an area I wanted to go spending much money on.
Yes, but
see, but now the way he said it means that he doesn't see the value that is coming from it. That's why he thinks that 13,000 is too much for it. So you wanted to have catch that and say, oh, but what do you mean too much? Or what do you mean by too much? Or simple mirroring, namely too much.
You said that you don't want to spend 30,000 on that, but basically just 3,000 for the first 2 months, so it's not 13,000.
That's wrong because you're currently justifying your pricing. What you want to understand is where is he coming from when he says it? Because it's not about you. Or, as a matter of fact, take into consideration, he said he needs to think about it. Okay, absolutely fine. You mentioned that you want to think about it. What is that you need to think about? Is it the program or is it the price?
And after that, basically we work from month to month. So you can decide if you want to be happy with the results we provide to you. You can basically just leave.
It's still $3,000, you know, 3,000 to 4,000. You know, I'll say just like if I hire somebody, I've got a budget. It's, you know, I'm hiring somebody and paying him $50,000 a year. I don't have to have 50,000 put away. I have to have 3 months put away. So I have to have $5,000, $15,000 put away. Here it's only $5,000, but if you do 2 or 3 of those, only $3,000 to $5,000 a year, and you lose 2 of those, you're behind. So right now, I don't think it's a program it's gonna work for me. I want to look at it again when I'm feeling better. I think you and I talked. I was supposed to have a meeting before because I'm sick. That's why I look like this. I'm still home, not feeling well, and I don't.
Not gonna lie, his sickness doesn't really change much to the way he looks. He's still fat.
I want to come off super negative to you, but I feel like shit. So I want to look at it again and make an informed decision when I'm not drugged up on NyQuil, and make sure I'm not being negative on it because of the way I feel.
Okay, makes sense.
Okay.
So
Does it, Matthew? Does it? What makes sense? Which part of that he has just said in those last 5 minutes makes sense to you?
That he looks like shit or feels like shit?
I'm gonna let you pass on this one. It was not the answer I was looking for. It was a
But
good
yes.
So
would you prefer just email the information, or would you prefer have another meeting later, let's say in
No, shoot
1
me
or
over the
2
information. Shoot me over the information. I'll look it over. And if you want to call me or if we can set up another meeting down the line, next week sometimes, fine. And then I can give you, like I said, I'm a D personality. I'm gonna tell you yes or no. I'm gonna look at my numbers and talk to my buyer's agent, this would be something that I would be spending money, but it's gonna be it comes out of their side. So they Aaron.
Do you see that now? That's why you fucked up, because you have not clarified if it will go to him or his people. He just answered that question by saying it will go from their side. So on the basis that you have figured out if it's 3% together or 3% separately, you will now know that the team is making 1 million or 500,000, and it's then being spread over 2 people. So you will then know if they are making, let's say, 50,000 each per month, or even like 20, which is a significant difference, especially if it should come out of their pocket. Besides, if you want to play with him, I will be a dick and be like, but then why is it coming out of their pocket, not yours, if you're the team leader? But yeah, especially when their closing rate is, granted, he could, especially because the closing is at fucking 4%. So it's their fault, not his, like based on the numbers.
Aaron would have to look at.
But again, these are fucking referrals. This is a super fucking low percentage.
It over and go, yeah, I think this is something valuable as me as well, because she's planning on bringing 2 people on as well this year. So it's got to be something that she would think is a value to her.
Okay, so in that case, can we just schedule a meeting for later next week?
You're a bitch. I'll ask him if we can. If he smacks you with his dick, smack him back. So just simply say, okay, no, absolutely fine. But then look, let's just speak next week, so we can finalize everything. So I can also walk you through everything again if you're gonna have any questions, so I can also answer them, and then we can make a decision. But then, would you prefer Sunday or Saturday? He tried to overtake the control after the investment, and he did. And you didn't. You have not found your balls that dropped somewhere on the floor in order to smack him back with those balls.
And just to make sure.
Don't let me get over different count, different screen. Excuse me.
That's basically just booking a meeting. So don't have to finish this.
Come on, I like to see
See
this.
around the same time looks pretty good. I tell you,
Jenny looks like. Have you guys seen X-Men? Blob. Blob is a character. Like I'm gonna show you guys. But like, imagine Blob in like his 60s. And you let Blob overtake the call. And you let Blob think that he's better than you. Yes, Blob may kill you with one hit, but you know, you're not next to him, you're in front of a camera. And besides, you must have fucked up something in the calculations because, no, like you have not done them. Because the way he said 13,000 is too much, that's not a good sign.
Mhm.
The way he said it seems like he's not making much money. Unless he takes the calculation based on how much his team is making, but again, like apparently he takes a fucking percentage of it. Okay, guys, any questions? Because AJs are also here, so we have 2 minutes left. Celine, I'm glad that your internet finally worked for more than 5 minutes. Never mind, I take it back. Kind of fun. Like every time when I speak to her, her internet just cuts off. I'm just gonna mute. Yeah. Any questions, guys?
Okay, I had one, but it's just gone out of my mind, so I'm sure I'll think of another
What's the
time.
question?
I can't, it just went out of my head. It's just stupid.
Fair enough. Okay, cool. Guys, if I see you in 15 minutes, I see you in 15 minutes. If not, enjoy your evening. If someone wants the link for in 15 minutes, let me know. Ah, AJ, you are a host.
Madouche, you can also leave if you want. Everybody already left.
Yeah, that's. I don't know what happened.
No worries, man. Have a great day. See you soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have anything for me? Like you have any questions?
No. I was just waiting what's going on when you joined because
No
you know
worries,
you had a problem with your laptop, so you was not joining the calls in the evening. So I was just waiting
Yeah.
what is going on now. It's going to be just a typical call as it used to be before, but then everyone disappears. So
Okay.
I'm
Okay, so have you booked in another session like for this week?
not yet. I
Not yet.
maybe gonna look, maybe gonna book another one for tomorrow,
Okay.
but then Monday and next week.
No
I'm gonna
worries. Sounds
create.
good.
I'm
Mhm.
gonna create a schedule for next week for sure for the everyday, basically just 15 minutes.
No worries, for sure, for sure. All right. Okay, Madouche, thank you so much for joining this call. Have a great day, brother. See you soon then.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.